that I needed to work on that anger and where it's coming from. Why am I angry? Things like I grew up around a lot of screwed up people. It was just like, it was weird. It was like super weird to see that stuff as an adult. To see that, okay, well, here it is that God is showing me to evolve and to grow, but yet these are people that's been on this earth much longer and they are still choosing to be the same as they were when I was a child. Weird stuff. So, and it could be painful to have to address and go back to spaces and places you thought that you once healed. You thought that you were healed of that, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not thinking about it anymore, but then something happens and then it makes you go back to that place, and it's like, you think it's the person or the situation that did it to you, and it's like, no, that been happened a long time ago, but you never really addressed it. You just covered it up with life and time, and address what the wound is so that you know how to heal it, so that you know what to do to the specifics of a wound, because that's just like somebody fracturing a bone and somebody give them a band-aid. As my bishop used to say, we have to face it, trace it, and replace it. Heal whatever that is in our lives, in our space, in our aura that we know that we need to heal, so that we can move forward. Because God can't bless what we pretend to be. If we pretend that, we're healed and, oh, this don't bother me no more, I'm good. It's like, okay, you think that you're good, but then the moment that you get triggered, you crashing out. Specific adult who had to gather up people to go against me, had to gather up people with these smear campaigns and things of that nature, and it's like, it was just really weird. Those were things that I needed to address, and that's why the Lord told me to go back to that childhood place, literally, so I can see where that derived from, where that anger, feeling like my voice didn't matter, not having the protection that a child should have had in those situations, and they were going along with them. As long as it wasn't them that was getting treated like trash, as long as it wasn't them getting talked about. And it's like, if you see the guy and you meet him, you're thinking to yourself like, y'all like flew off the cliff for that? Y'all went against or chosen for that? Like, that's who y'all stood on the hill and died for that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but nevertheless though, I'm just very thankful and grateful that I was able to identify what I needed to heal and actually do that, and to not do to my children what was done to me, because it's just so unnecessary. It's children, the adults in my life, they had the mindsets of children, and I don't make no excuses for them. I don't, because they were grown. They had all of these resources and tools, and they just chose to do what they wanted to do because they felt that they could, because they're grown. So I don't make excuses for grown folk. I don't, because did nobody make excuses for me as the child. So, I really, 2021 is where I really got to identify all of that stuff, all of the stuff that I went through, actually acknowledge it, instead of trying to ignore it, instead of saying, oh, I'll just be the bigger person. For a child to be told that they have to be the bigger person, for a child to be told to go and apologize to the adult that wronged them, like, that stuff is just bananas, so crazy to me. That's why I had the anger issues that I did, because people will always try to silence me. When I try to call people out on things that they do, they would try to silence me. They would want to give me the silent treatment. They would want to call themselves trying to punish me for speaking up about something that they did. Now I am quick to cut a person off. In some aspects that could be seen as a trauma response, but if I feel that a person is not respecting my space, my boundaries, respecting my voice, they don't need to be in my presence. And that's just what it is. I don't care how nobody look at that. In the thick of healing, in the mud, I really had to go in the dirt, in the soil, in the dark by myself to be able to grow, to have this kind of harvest that I am producing, So talk about God is because you're oh so perfect. Absolutely not. Absolutely far from it. In fact, my bishop used to say that the church is a hospital because everybody there is going through something, dealing with something, and they need the help. If you feel that you're perfect, then why you there? So I'm just very thankful and grateful to acknowledge how far I've come, because I've come a very long way. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, just, about the anger issues that I had and where it derived from and things of that nature. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But it's what people need to realize, is that we are all healing, learning, growing, evolving, doing better. At least we should. If you're around people who choose to want to still be negative and have negative energy, that's on you. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Anybody that's connected to me is because they want to evolve, they want to grow, and they actually do so. It's not that they just want to, it's because they're actually doing it. So that's just a little tidbit about me. Healing, growing, learning, evolving, doing better, being better, living better, speaking better, thinking better, eating better, drinking better. Just better, better, better.